that is ridiculous that I have a kid who next year, he's already enrolled in kindergarten now. That's insane to me. And a couple weeks ago, we finished his first video game. We played and beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder Revenge, and that was a lot of fun. In fact, he and I just recorded tonight our loot drop review of the game. And listen, as a dad, like I only have one kid, so that I know about. But as a dad, man, I love my son, and I'm so grateful for the family that my wife gave me with him and with her. Um, but every time we hit like these little, like they seem so insignificant, but for me, like they really are. They're so special. Like these little milestones of like him, beating his first game, and the fact that it was a co-op game with him and I, like, and we got to play it together. To me, that shit's just really special. And like I'm hoping, like, I'm gonna make some kind of like plaque or something for him to be able to like list all the games he's ever beaten before, because I think that would be really cool for him to have, especially when he grows up and gets older, to be able to log every game he's beaten. So I'm still going to figure out how to do something like that with him. Right now, we're actually through our second game. We're going through our second game right now. We decided to tackle, he wanted a game that you didn't really have to fight, I guess. So even though I thought that the game was going to be a little bit too advanced for him, we went ahead and gave it a shot, and we're playing It Takes Two. Mainly because my wife doesn't want to play it. She has no interest. So we're playing It Takes Two, and listen, the gameplay mechanics are a little bit much for him. There's times I have to help him through it. But it's so amazing to me, like, how much he retains and how observant he is, right? Because even at 5 years old, like the story, spoilers if you've never played the game, but the story revolves around a daughter who makes these two little dolls to look like her parents, and the parents get trapped in the bodies of these dolls as they're getting a divorce, and it's like their way to be able to find themselves, in love with each other again or whatever. And so talking to my son about divorce, because I didn't know that's what the game was about, and talking about some of those really deeper adult type conversations, like, he's just such a special kid. And I know a lot of parents say that. Listen, I will also be fair. My kid's an asshole, and he farts all the fucking time. But he's a special kid, like, with a lot of empathy and a lot of heart. And, he made some comments about, like, how he feels bad for the girl because, he has parents that love each other, and, she has parents that want to get a divorce. And, like, just those little things, man. Like, it just... I really hope I'm doing a good job as a dad. I know my wife's doing a great job as a mom. She's such a good mom. But I really hope I'm holding my own. I really am. So, I don't know. We'll look back at this episode of this podcast 20 years from now, and he'll either be saying, "Dad, you did a great job, thank you," or he'll be showing it to his therapist. One of the two. Still too soon to tell. But let's talk about some of the content that we're getting into now, right? So let's start with video gameplay. Since we already talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder Revenge, we talked about It Takes Two. What are some of the solo gameplays that I'm playing? So first things first, Final Fantasy IX. I'm playing it for the first time. And this is my non-spoiler review of Disc 1. I'm going to have my spoiler review up on the loot drop at some point. But my non-spoiler review of Disc 1 is I can see why people love this game. I can. I somehow I've managed to be spoiler free for a 20-year-old game in a game that a lot of people regard as one of the best Final Fantasy games in its anthology. I've managed to stay spoiler free, and I'm shocked by that. So when it comes to Final Fantasy IX, listen, between the character development that we're getting with some of the characters like Zidane, Garnet, Vivi, with the impossible task of RPG games, pre voice acting, where you have to try to be able to get an emotional reaction from us without any kind of vocal narrative, it still amazes me. And this game does it really, really well by the animation of its cutscenes and by the music in the game. The music, honestly, is it's real MVP through the first disc. I'm not ready to say that I think it's the best music of any Final Fantasy game, but it is definitely up there. The music in this game is absolutely beautiful. Then there are some things that I don't really care for, like, it's a 20-year-old game, so I get it. It's a product of its time. but grinding to be able to develop your characters. Listen, here's the thing. Like, Expedition 33 did it perfect in their development in a way that battling worked. Like, you didn't have to overly battle everything. Like, you naturally progress throughout the course of the game. So grinding games like that, just I have no interest in it. So I went quad 9. The version I'm playing has an option to do quad 9 damage on every battle, and to speed up the gameplay. So I went ahead and did that. So when I go into battles, I speed it up, I do the quad 9, get through it. Even then, I'm grinding because I want to be able to level up my stats, because I don't want to be like too underpowered health or HP wise when I get towards the end of the game. And I still want to be able to kind of get some of those mechanics down and understand some of those tropes of the game. But for the most part, the grinding I just can't do. So I'm pushing through that, and just kind of pencil whipping that. But the game itself, the storyline is beautiful so far. I really enjoy it. Really enjoy where it looks like this game is going to go. And the cliffhanger it leaves at the end of disc 1. Listen, I mean, it's a good cliffhanger. For going back to days where you open up a game and you had several discs to be able to go play through, and you get that cliffhanger at the end of that first disc, and you're like, holy shit, what happened? Like, I gotta play the second disc right away. It's a pretty good cliffhanger. I'll say that. Pretty good cliffhanger. So, another game that I started playing, and this one came out of nowhere for me. I don't even know why I started playing this one, but I was just laying in bed the other night, and I had my Portal on, and I was just looking through some of the games that you could play, and I came across Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And I don't know if this is the first installment of the game. I don't know if it's like the 10th installment. I have no idea. I've never heard of this game before. But for some reason, I picked it, and I started playing it. And I gotta tell you, I think it's actually pretty good. I think it really is. I hear it's like a 14 and 15 hour game, so I don't think it's going to take too much of a commitment. I'm a couple hours into it right now, so no spoilers for the game. But the game does a really good job of throwing you into the action. Does a really good job of throwing you into your, and I don't consider this a spoiler. So I guess if you plan on playing this game and you want to know absolutely nothing, fast forward 30 seconds. But when you start the game out, unlike other RPG games where you start out as your solo character and then you're having to kind of push yourself, push the story forward to be able to add on characters to your party, this throws you into a fully equipped, ready to go party in the game. And I can appreciate that. Like, in the game does a really good job of making you feel as if it was natural and that you've been lifelong friends with these people. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. And I find a lot of the characters to be very charming. I really do. I said this already talking about this game, and I'll say it again. It kind of feels like a Walmart Final Fantasy, but that's not a bad thing, right? It does a lot of things that Final Fantasy does. And a little bit cheaper, if that makes sense. But I think it makes up with it by the characters. Like, they're really fun characters. I really like the game so far. So yeah, that's what I'm playing. Combat in the game, it's action combat, kind of similar to what you got like Final Fantasy VII Remake. So nothing to write home about there. But overall, really great game so far. In between the two, yeah, I'm definitely living my best life right now for video games. So, moving on to our next topic, let's talk a little bit about TV, right? So, a couple of big shows out there right now. So,